Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Behind the Mic Stand. I'm your host, Alex Babbitt, but y'all know that already. You're not here for me, you're here for my amazing guest. And this episode does not make any difference. When I say this person is one of the most talented people I know, also hardworking. Business regimen is so crazy. I've never seen this person not work and not thrive at whatever they do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to make some noise for the one and only Kerry Coddett. Hey, Kerry.
That was such a great intro.
Yeah,
hey.
yeah.
I was like, who he talking about? That's crazy.
It's the truth. I've known you for, quite some time now, I think a little bit under 10 years. Mm-hmm. And you're one of those, especially first coming in, meeting you as a stand-up, where you just look like you won. Like, no matter what was happening, because every festival you did, whenever I saw you on a show, it would just be like, yo, Kerry's a winner. You're a winner on stage, very funny, but then you would also do productions. And I saw nobody else, especially at that time, nobody else was doing it to that degree. People would have bar shows and be 3 people in it. You'd be selling out and it'd be a bar show. And then you would have a sponsor, someone selling jerk chicken outside the show. That's so impressive to me. And I've always truly been inspired by it. So I'm very glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm very proud of you too. This is awesome. I'm really, I haven't done a lot of shows in a long time. And I was like, you asked, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming.
Yes. For the win, man. For the win, how have you been?
I have been amazing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. I felt it. Let's see, you're writing on, it seems like every show. You're acting on every show. I gotta know, for the people who don't know you, Brooklyn native.
Brooklyn, born and raised.
Mm-hmm. Caribbean upbringing.
Yes.
Yep. Swag, the Millie Watt Queen is what they call you.
They do.
Yeah.
True. Some people want me to hang it up, but I will never.
No, you're not doing it?
Ever.
I refuse. I'm not giving up.
You can Millie to everything. It's like, why would I stop something that brings me and the world joy? I'm not doing that.
I don't want to learn a new dance.
No.
The Millie Rock is my dance. It's just going to be the Kerry Coddett dance. I fuck with it. I wanted to know, because it's one of those things that I've thought about often. One, from what I've known about you, you've always had like a drive, a vision for something. You know what I mean? From just looking it up, you had a clothing line. But then just knowing you, I found this out because my lady let me know that you taught dance in my high school.
I sure did.
I did not know that. And I was just like, yo, that shit is fucking crazy.
That was wow.
Yeah, what is that? What is that thing? Is that just your innate drive, hustle? What is that?
Yeah, I've always been driven by a need to express myself and to create my own lane and my own happy space, and then figure out how to monetize that and make money from it. So all those things, my whole entire life, all those things.
Oh, you don't believe in was it the struggling artist, the broke artist?
Oh yeah, no. I don't believe in starving. Like you gotta eat to concentrate to create. So no, I don't believe in that.
You gave it up. Yeah, because you've always seen it. Now, was it easy for you to kind of navigate the money scenario as an artist?
I think everything has its challenges. And so you just think about the type of sacrifices that you want to make to get to the greater goal. And so for me, money, I've never been focused on money. And so in that regard, I've always found a way to get money. I'm always driven first by the need to do what I love and what feels organic and true to me. And how can I do this to the best of my ability? And obviously that a lot of times comes with monetization. Like how can I sell this? How can I market this? How can I survive? And so I've always been driven by a need to make money my own way, because the 9-to-5, baby, it's not in my personality. I can't do it.
Did you ever?
Yeah.
Where? Wendy's? Was it Wendy's?
No, my very first job was Blockbuster in high school. I lied and I told them I was 18 and I was like 15. And then ever since that, I've just been lying for a very long time. It was a series of lying for jobs, but I always worked just enough to get unemployment so that I can get the unemployment money and pay for improv classes. So that was my model for a very long time.
That's the most foreign hustle.
What?
That's such an immigrant hustle. Work just enough for the government to handle so I can actually spend the money on what I want to spend it on.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting because I grew up the way I grew up, my family would look at like the unemployment. They'd be like, you never want to have that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to me now. It doesn't. I'm like, why not just take the money they're giving you?
Mm-hmm.
But did you have a family dynamic that was just like by any means necessary? Like how did you understand how to navigate that so well?
Yeah, I think I come from a family of self-starters and hustlers. So like my grandmother, I watch her hustle. She's from Tobago. She came here as a maid with 7th grade education, and she literally picked up bottles and cans every single day. Like you see the people with the bottles and cans, but my grandmother hustled. Like they had shopping carts. My grandmother leveled up and had a station wagon. And so every single
with the bottles and cans,
with the bottles and cans, and we would make trips. And she would send me and my sister in because they limited how many people could redeem a day. And she used to make, like one year she made $25,000 in 1 year, just inside money, because she thought it was so crazy in America that people threw money away. And so with that money, she brought property. She just died in 2020. She left all her property to me and my sister. And this is money that I saw her make and save from just being a maid. So when people say I can't, I don't know what that's like. I can't even wrap my mind around the word can't. I can't. I can't with the cans. I can't with the cans. I cannot.
It's too many cants, man.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's bananas. Just straight up, yeah. Because I've met a lot of your family from your mom who, like, I was saying this on my way here. Your family as a family feels like a warrior class people. Like I watch everybody who I've met, your mom, your sister, I'm like, they were definitely warriors. At some point, like I didn't feel any weakness meeting any of these people.
None of us are light skinned, no shame. No. I always say that, like, to be from the Caribbean on both sides and to have everybody on both sides be as dark as we are, it's like that means that we came from a rebellious line of people. There's no mixing. I don't really have that in my family. I don't have that. Like my great-great-grandmother's from Venezuela, but it's still not the same as, I don't have that. We just don't give it up like that.
Yeah, y'all pure cut chocolate. God made
African,
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Flex on them. Yeah. Every picture I see, even when in events, there's so much Black and African pride that it, is enticing, because not too many people do that and walk through, especially the entertainment business, walk with their head held high, like, hey, I'm Black. This is what I do. This is who I am. And win. And win. It's impressive, Kerry. It's so impressive. The dynamic of like building with your family, because also your sister's your manager, if that was the case, still is.
Mm-hmm.
How did y'all navigate coming into the entertainment business? Because I assume you don't have any, like, you don't got a plug, you don't got a Jewish auntie that's like got your gigs?
Nope. My sister has always been my right hand. So ever since I was little, I've always been driven by like creating something, whether it's dance classes, whether it's my clothing line, whatever it is. And she's always my partner. Like, how can we strategize? And so she had a marketing background before she left that career entirely to manage me full time. And we're just all about strategy and like, what are people missing? What like a lot of people operate from the way things are supposed to be, or they think. We never do that. We're always like, all right, but what can we do with what we got, and how do we make 2 × 2 = 16? Like, we exponentially build shit. So that was just having my sister, somebody I could trust, and my best friend and do everything with, is like, I could never do the shit alone.
Did you ever think to yourself, did you ever have that moment of, I should get like a traditional manager? No, you
absolutely not.
Just straight up.
I don't even know what a traditional manager is, and when I hear from other comedians, apparently them niggas ain't good. So I'm keeping mine. She's amazing, and at one point she was managing other people, and then she realized she don't want to do that either. So she's just managing me now. Yeah.
Because it makes the most sense for y'all dynamic. Have y'all ever had because that's so interesting, because I got brothers. Would I trust my brothers to be my managers? Nah. And it's not that I think they would be bad. It's just that's not the relationship we necessarily have, that I'd feel like they'd help me navigate this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where you and your sister, how do y'all differentiate the family and the business? Or do they just kind of, are they the same?
They're the same. I mean, that's like, she's my soulmate in a way that, like, we were supposed to be here together. Everything that we are, it's like, it's one of a kind. Everything, like, and I'm so much walking in her path. Like, I'm outgoing, but she's been the first person that I've ever known in my life to be confident. Like, my mother says, like, when she dropped us off to school as kids, like, on the first day I cried like a normal kid. My sister didn't even turn back. She just waved goodbye and was like, I'm ready to take over the world. And so when you have that as an example, somebody that is the youngest person in her class, because we both got skipped twice when we were younger. So I watched her do it, and then the same thing happened to me. And I was like, oh, I know how to navigate this because I've seen my sister do this shit and crush it. And so we've just always been we got a rhythm. That's my my heart.
I like it because your whole face lit up.
I
Even
love
talking
her
about
so
her.
much. She's amazing. She's incredible. She should be here.
Is that your big sister?
That's my big sister.
Big
5
sister.
years apart.
Okay. Oh, so
Best friends. Even though I look older, apparently. It's really annoying.
So she inspired. That's interesting. She inspires you, and I feel because even your mom's energy too is. Who was it? Who do you feel like your mom or pops? Who's the inspiring like factor that kind of created you guys? Because you're winners as a unit. Who was it?
I think it's a combination of everyone, right? Like when we talk about nature versus nurture, it's hard to like pinpoint one person's influence. Like my father, he's an entrepreneur. I've never seen him work for anyone else. He's always been a boss. Like my father is that nigga. Like wherever you go, people know his name because of our last name. People would be like, oh, you're the Coddetts. Okay, we're not messing with you. I've watched my father do so much awesome stuff. My grandmother was a beast. It's just like everyone in our family has just been, and we're not perfect, but it's like we always knew that if there's something we wanted to do, we could do it, and we could do it together.
It's very interesting to me hearing that because a lot of people don't have that family dynamic or are trying to grow it like as individuals. Is that something like, I'm trying to think of the best thing because this is really like, I'm getting riled up hearing about it.
That's
I'm like, yeah, a bunch of gangsters. What have been some of the challenges you feel like you faced then? I guess maybe, are you ever in a position when you're not with your family, when you don't have your right hand, how do you still kind of have that strength to just keep going and pride and all of that? How, you know what I mean? Do you ever have moments of doubt?
Yeah, I think everyone has moments of self-doubt, but I don't let it last too long. You know, you have those things that you tell yourself to pep yourself up, to make sure that you're constantly inspired and motivated. And I think it really just comes with having a really, really strong sense of self. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm not gonna go for. I know my limitations, and I'm very honest about my boundaries and like what I can and can't do. And so I think when you walk through the world knowing like, this is not for me, and I'm not afraid to walk away from shit, then that is when like you realize just how much like you can accomplish because you know exactly what you want from this life.
Yeah, I grew up with money. There was some money. I don't feel any. I saw your eye. There's no poverty here. This is
Poverty is a mindset.
Ah, fuck that. It's also a financial.
It's a mindset. You know what I mean?
As you're talking, I'm like, yeah, Kerry did not grow up poor at all. Oh, it's raining. That's great. That's great. It rains on good days. That's something that.
I love rain.
Yeah.
I don't think it's raining though.
We just covered by a lot. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
We're
that's
good.
perfect.
But that's so interesting.
Make it rain on them. So you just start talking about money.
So in Brooklyn, this is so wow. In Brooklyn, do you feel like were y'all like ostracized in any way, having this kind of energy, this like self-starter, or did you connect with everybody? So, like if you knew somebody who was kind of like, I don't want to just say poor because that's the wrong thing to say, but like poor in mindset. Was it hard for you to even communicate with them?
In what ways?
When you met somebody that might not have had the same confidence that your family has instilled in you, right? How did you navigate dealing with those individual people? Like once it came outside of y'all circle, how do y'all deal with those personalities? Those where you like, oh, I didn't grow up that way, and I don't want to. I want to waver, if that makes sense. How did you fight that? Because I know this world can definitely like beat people up in a way where you could be like, all right, maybe I'll just quiet down. Maybe I'll just do this. How did you not break that?
I think it's just by being honest. Like your truth is different from my truth. And I try not to judge people from my circumstances or where I am. I think that we all walk different paths. And I'm a big believer in you shape your reality and your thoughts shape your reality. And so for me, like I could give a fuck about external things and external markers of success, money, jewelry, status symbols, luxury cars. I don't care about that like at all. The older I get and the higher I ascend, the less I care about that. I don't even have a Telfar. I don't got none of that shit. My friend, I got the same sneakers on I had 7 years ago. I don't care. I'm gonna run these down because my grandmother would have a fit if she knew I could still wear these shoes and I wasn't wearing them. And so I just think that it really depends on how you work with people. Like from a peer-to-peer person, I'm always trying to speak and instill confidence in people. So I'm always going to try to let you know that you can do that. And for every no, there's a yes. And it really just depends on what you want to focus on. And then where it comes into like people who aren't confident, I think the biggest challenge is when those people are your superiors or those are your bosses. And you're like, ah, damn, you don't even know what you're doing. You're supposed to lead me? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest challenge. But aside from that, it's just like, just being honest with who you are and doing what you do.
Is that how you resonate on stage as well? Like as a stand-up, do you go and be like, oh, I'm gonna be as honest as possible? Or like, what is your stand-up process as well, the writing process in that regard?
Stand-up. You know, I haven't done stand-up in 1.5 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I haven't done stand-up since last August, I think.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, I took a huge break. Like, you know, a lot of people were doing Zoom shows and outdoor shows. I didn't do any of that. So like my whole relationship with stand-up is different post-pandemic than it was 2.5 years ago. So I'm in a different, I don't even know.
Is that transition easy because you still write? You write on multiple shows, you act on multiple shows. So making that transition, was that easy, or what did you have? Because I've talked to other comics who kind of went through this. Did you have that moment of like, oh, I need to get back on, or did you just kind of like, I'm good?
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think a lot of the pandemic too was breaking out of the narratives that they tell us. And some of these myths that I bought into, like you gotta be on stage every single day. You gotta go up 10, 15 times a week. You can't sleep, you can't eat. And I was like, no, you don't need, for me, if that works for you, and it has worked for me for a while, but then when I stopped, I was like, oh, there's a much better and more efficient way and I can do this. Like, I don't even do shows on weekends. That's family time. That's like self-care time.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes as a stand-up, your schedule is pretty much determined on what spots you have. And that means somebody else is determining what your day looks like. Because basically somebody will come into your inbox and be like, hey, are you free? Yeah. And then when you look around, you're like, oh shit, I have 15 spots this week and I'm running around for everybody else. And I haven't taken time for me. And now I'm just like, I'm determining my schedule. This is when I want to do stand-up between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. on these days. And I'm only doing the spots that make sense with this. And I'm only doing spots that offer me 15 minutes. And I'm only doing shows that got 50 to 60 plus people because I don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
So that's my stand-up perspective right now. And then I took a big break because I realized that I was also just, you know, sometimes with stand-up, you're just like, am I funny? And then you realize that you are funny. But then I realized that I'm on stage talking about shit I really don't care about. That I'm just anything topical, I gotta get a topical joke. Chris Rock gets slapped, I gotta have my best Will Smith joke. I gotta do this. And I'm like, again, the news cycle is determining what I talk about. I don't like that shit either. I don't give a fuck about Chris Rock or Will Smith. Both of them got more money than me. And no, you think they sitting around on Red Table talking about me right now? No, they not. I got other things to do.
What's Kerry Coddett doing right now?
They're not thinking about me. So I was just also like, I'm just running around with all these takes that I feel like I'm supposed to have. And I really didn't care about it. So I decided to stop talking because I've been talking my whole life. And the last 2 years I just spent listening, reading, learning, thinking about shit.
You're learning to appreciate, that's interesting. It sounds like you're learning to appreciate like the stillness of life. That's fire. That's so, especially because to me, I look at your energy and feel like if I could compare like you and your sister's energy, I feel like I resonate more with your very fast paced, blah, blah, a show. But learning that skill has actually been a very hard thing for me to do, to just kind of sit in the silence of life. Even on stage, it's sit in the silence, not, one thing that some friends have told me for years, it was like, you talk so fast, man, you just be on stage running through shit. But in hindsight, I now understand that it was the fear of like, if I don't get them to laugh right away, I'll lose them. And if I lose them, this is how I'm making money. This is how I'm trying to, you know, cultivate a life for myself. So if I don't get them in the first 15 seconds, but then you meet a person like, do you know Tony Woods? Person like Tony Woods, Greer Barnes, those people who sit in the pocket, won't even talk for the first 2 minutes. And that's so impressive. And it's a very good skill to to develop. I don't think a lot of people really take that time, especially even during the pandemic. So many people just tried to do everything.
Mm-hmm. And pivot. It's like, sit the fuck down. Sit down for like a half a second. Nobody cares about your pandemic take. Oh, we keep washing our hands. We're all doing it. Calm down. So frustrated.
Shut the fuck up. Chill out.
Everybody's on live. Like, go live outside. Go outside.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, that's certain. It's fair. You know what's crazy? I did it, but I do understand. I understand both sides because I was on live, but I was losing my shit. I needed some other voices. I got tired of talking to me and my family. I needed some other takes, but I do also appreciate that, and I feel like people watching will also appreciate this. It's okay to stop and just like recollect, man. So many people have such a hard time doing that. In your years of working the day job, when did you decide, like, all right, I'm gonna go full artist?
Oh, instantly. I instantly decided I'm gonna go full artist, and I'm gonna leave the minute I can. And so I was just talking to my sister about this the other day because it was so interesting. So I used to manage retail stores for the money, and then for the flexibility, and then once I got fired, I would take that money for improv classes. And then that worked for a while, and then I would do like little gigs. So like my last job was working the door at Voodoo in the Bed-Stuy, like a little lounge, and I used to work there Friday and Saturday nights. And in the beginning of comedy, I would only be good enough to get booked on like the little open mics were on the week. And then I was like, damn, if I could only get booked on the weekend. And then weekend, Friday and Saturday.
I remember those years.
You could never get booked on Friday and Saturday. Those were for people that had time in 15 minutes. The minute I got booked on a Friday and Saturday, and I think I got passed at Stand Up New York first. $75 on Friday, $75 on Saturday. I was like, oh, I can do this. Unemployment and my little 150 and the same sneakers I've been wearing for 7 years.
Grandma be proud.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure it's an expensive pair of sneakers, and then it just lasts you the whole way. But then that's it. Yeah, no, fuck that. I was never trying to be somebody else's anything. This was always a mission since I was like 3.
That's fire. That's absolutely fantastic, and it resonates. And you stand up, and now the Kwanzaa Crawl brand has been one of my favorite things to ever be a part of. Me and my boy Jody Robinson.
Yeah, y'all are great team leaders.
Hey, that's my brother, and we've had him on the show as well. And it's one of those things like we talk about often, of just like especially because we did it I think the first 2 years or whatever.
Yep.
And it was just such a moment because you feel not only so much like inclusivity, but then also it's fun. It was just fun. Yes, we spending money, but we going to black businesses in the neighborhood. And it because you know, I assume Brooklyn parties, shit hits the fan, someone catch an attitude, fight break out, and then you got a time limit before it stops being a good time a lot of times. But at the Kwanzaa Crawl, it always was very just like not only organized, but there was so much love. What was the inspiration in creating that? Like, you know what I mean?
It's interesting. So it happened in 2016 when there was like so many back-to-back killings of unarmed men. That was Alton Sterling. It was Philando Castile. It was so many. And I remember everybody being like, what are we going to do? And I was just like, I'm tired of sitting here feeling like there's nothing I can do. And there's got to be something I can do that is not waiting on white people to see our humanity. I'm sick and tired of begging white people to stop killing us, to stop doing this. I could give a fuck right now. What I'm interested in is getting my group together. And I was like, what does my group need? Black people need economic power, and we need political power. Because if you look at every single thing in this country, it's all about the lobbies. Who has the money? The gun lobbies, all of this shit, it's just lobbyists, people with money and people that vote together and pool their money for the interests that they're interested in. And so I was like, we don't have any type of solidarity. We're not one voting block. We're not anything. And so I was like, how can we get, and the political power thing, just seemed like really big. And we were like, oh, but the money, we could focus on the economic
I can get
power.
some money.
Right. And the thinking is, if you could get black people to spend their money together, then you can get us to do other things together. But first, we got to start supporting each other. And so that was kind of the early conceit. It was like, we wanted to drive people to bank black, and we wanted to give money back to the community. And so Kwanzaa Crawl was just one of these things that kind of came out of how do we support the businesses in the community that are closing, gentrification, all of this other stuff. And we didn't know shit about Kwanzaa. And then we started looking it up and we're like, oh my God, Kwanzaa literally has all the tools that Black people need, like defining yourself for yourself, unity, spending money with each other, just all of that stuff. So we just combined it and voila, Kwanzaa Crawl.
And then y'all made it, but you say, well, you know what my favorite thing about you is you'll say something real complicated and then say voila, like, because that makes it, yeah, well, you know, we took some complicated shit with some other complicated shit, voila, and it's thriving, because it's been thriving for years.
Thank you.
And I gotta know, because there has to be something. What is the hardest, what is some of the main complications you faced with creating something like Kwanzaa Crawl? And how did you overcome it? Because that's all this show is about. Complications, overcome it.
Great question. So many, it just depends. Every year, it's a different set of challenges. The first year, we couldn't get businesses who really wanted to buy in. They were like, we're usually closed on Monday. First of all, it's hard to get a hold of Black-owned business owners. That was already a challenge. Like finding them, getting them to answer the phone, getting them to respond to the email.
I used to work at a corner store that would close when it rained.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Google hours is one thing. It's just like.
But it didn't matter. It's how they feel. Black-owned businesses be like that.
Listen, so that was a challenge. And then you had like the Kwanzaa purists who were like, what does Kwanzaa have to do with drinking? Meanwhile, every celebration in life involves drinking of some sort. Weddings, funerals, like everything. Graduations, it's drinking. Birthdays, people get drunk. And you don't have to drink to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. And then now as we grow, that's the thing, is like, how do we keep the integrity of the event? Because we don't want it to be SantaCon. And when your thing grows, and it's 5,000 people, one, it's gonna be more expensive. That's another challenge. It's like this year has been the most expensive that it's been, but if you look around, everything is just more expensive. Like people that were $300, photographers that were $300 before the pandemic are now $1,400 for the same camera.
Out of nowhere.
And it's like, oh my God.
Prices went up.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yeah.
So that's also a challenge. Like,
but everybody's saying that now.
Yeah, everyone's saying that. And it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be able to keep this thing affordable for everybody and still bring it in. And now we got 100, 200 employees. It's a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. I miss comedy. I don't know how much I love Black people, child. I love us, but it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't got no edges now, Black people. It's a lot.
I know you meant it because you said child. Whenever a Black woman throw out child, hey, child, listen.
It's a lot. It's not easy.
So hearing that, this leads into my last two questions, right? And one, thank you again. I've enjoyed this so much. One, how do you manage it? You got 200 employees. Your regular career, you write on network television shows. How do you manage all of this?
I say no a lot. I say no to a lot of things, and saying no to other people allows me to say yes to myself and the things that I really want. I also keep a bullet journal. A bullet journal has saved my life. I literally write down all of my goals. So I'll do like my goals for the month, and then I'll back it out and be like, what weekly tasks do I need to hit in order to hit those goals? And then from the weekly tasks, I break it down to the daily stuff, like what stuff do I need to do every day to make sure that I'm on target. And then I just make sure that it's divided, like enough time for self-care and enough time for comedy and enough time for writing. And then these are my Kwanzaa Crawl hours. And, but I'm taking the entire summer off. This year I'm not, this month, the next 3 months, this is why I can do this now. I need time to like live my life, and I'm no longer trying to work that hard, to be honest. I ain't trying to work that hard. I'm not trying to do it.
I'm sick of it.
I
need the nap. I need the Millie Rock on a boat, because every video I see, you on a new boat, Millie Rocking.
Yes, I learned how to swim during the pandemic. These are all the things that you can do when you're not focused on working. There's so much more to life than work.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a great gem. So we got one more thing that we ask on every episode. You might have heard it before, and y'all know what part of the episode this is. This is your camera, right? Yeah. Zoom in shot. If you could give a piece of motivation to a person that thinks like you, comes from your mindset, and or doesn't come from your mindset, but is inspired by how you speak, and just like might need a bit of encouragement or something, what words, what gem would you give them?
Sure. Great question. So my new thing, it's a book that I read, and she also has a podcast that I love, but everything is figure-outable. This is a very simple thing. If there's something that you want, you can figure it out. if you really want something and the first thing you do is, but I can't, but, if you put a but, then you don't really want it that bad. And you should just be honest with yourself so that you can actually free yourself to focus on the things that you really want bad enough to not put those blocks and obstacles in front of yourself. So I would say that if you want to do something, you can do it. Most things, 99% of the things that you really want, you could figure that shit out if you really, really want to.
If you want to be a stripper, you could do it.
You could absolutely do it.
Invest in yourself. I love every bit of this. I do.
I don't see why you can't strip. You can strip. And
I'm
I seen
good.
those knees. And if you can strip, anybody can strip. Just saying.
Oh my God, Kerry, I love you to death. I thank you for joining us in this episode. Seriously, it means the world.
This was so much fun.
I thank you.
I'm proud
thank
of you.
Thank you. Come on, man. Come on. Trying to be great. Not trying.
You are great.
Pursuing greatness.
Yep.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode. Let's thank again our guest, Kerry Coddett. I'll see you next time. Peace. Thank you.
Yeah, we did.
Come on.
It's 2 kids from Brooklyn.
Yep, right?
Brooklyn.
Hey guys, thank y'all for watching Behind the Mic Stand. If y'all enjoyed it, as I think you did, because you made it to the end, like, subscribe, make sure you hit that notification button so you hear the subscriptions and shit. You know how it works. Just like it. Stop skipping this part and do it right now. What? Somewhere right here. I think it's right here.